Hello, today we are going to talk about how to do Raw Edge Applique, and I'm going to demonstrate the technique using my Sweet Santa applique pattern that comes with the Sawtooth Star block pattern in my sewwithtarareed.com Etsy shop. Raw Edge Applique basically means you're going to cut these pieces to the exact size that you want them to begin with, and the cut or raw edge of the fabric will be left out. So there will be a little bit of fraying potentially with this technique, and it looks just a little bit more primitive than a turned edge applique, but it is a great place to start and a great way to do designs that have a little bit more detail like this Santa face. So if you have never done Raw Edge Applique and want to see exactly how you get these pieces together and how it works, let's get started. To create your Raw Edge Applique pieces, you're going to use the template and you're going to trace these designs onto your favorite double-sided adhesive. And I am going to be using the Pellon Easy Steam 2 two-sided pressure-sensitive sticky. And then I'm just going to take a regular pen and I'm going to trace each of these designs. And on the template, it shows you which parts go on which color. I've reversed everything that needs to be reversed so that it will turn out with the hat going to the left, just like it is shown in the photo. So I have this on my light desk because it makes it a lot easier to see through the material. It has paper on both sides of this adhesive, and I love that it has lines on this side so it's easy to cut, especially if you just need straight pieces. Okay, so I have the 4 white pieces, and then I always just like to trim pretty close to that so that I can save these scraps for other projects. And this is the red, and then the pink nose, and the black eyes and glasses. Now, if you wanted to, for a different look, you could put the applique together and then embroider the nose, the glasses, and the eyes on there. That could be fun. You could also add a more dimensional pom-pom to the hat. There's so many fun ways that you can personalize things like this. So I'm done with my light table. And now we're just going to take each of our fabrics and we're going to peel the side off that has the lines, because we want to keep what we just drew. So now this is sticky, and you're just going to put that down. Now, if you're using fabric that has a right side and a wrong side, you're going to be putting that on the wrong side. And then you're just going to take small fabric scissors and you're going to trim around all of these designs. And you're going to repeat this with each color. And then when I'm doing the inside of shapes like that, I fold that in half and cut a little notch so that I'm going to be able to get my scissors in there. Sometimes these smaller pieces are a bit tricky, which is why you might want to just embroider that on. And then leave the other side of the adhesive on until you're ready to assemble your Santa onto whatever you're going to be appliquing him onto. So this pink that I'm using for the nose is a two-sided fabric. So I'm going to be placing this on the wrong side of the fabric. Now this Santa face we cut with our Cricut machine, and I'm going to do it a little bit differently. I'm going to put it on a green background so it's super Christmassy. I sprayed this with spray starch and pressed it, and then I added some of the Pellon 845 Designer Lite interfacing on the back to help to stabilize that. And then, because these are just cut pieces of fabric without the adhesive on the back, I'm going to be using the 505 temporary adhesive spray for fabric. But before we get spraying, we want to make sure we have this centered properly. So you're going to want to put the head down, the head and beard down, and then we want to put the hat on, make sure we like the angle of it with the mustache, and then also where this little ball goes on top. And you want that pretty much centered. So this needs to go over a little bit. And you can eyeball it or you can use a ruler, but I do recommend that you cut your outside fabric a little bigger than you need so that you can trim it down to size once you're done doing this free motion applique. Okay, so I like where that is. So I'm going to take this erasable heat pen and I'm going to mark where I have the hat and also where I'm putting the body, and I'm going to do 4 guidelines, tops and sides. Put this temporary adhesive on these pieces and then layer them onto the fabric, and then we will get quilting. When I bring that back, I'm just going to line it up with my marks, and those marks are going to disappear when we iron this. I'm going to put that down. Then I'm going to add the hat. Now I'm going to place my mustache, but I'm not going to put adhesive on that yet because I want the nose to go behind it and I want the mouth to come out from underneath it as well. Okay, once we have them placed, we can do the mustache. And when you put the mustache down, you just want to make sure that it covers the ends of the hat, gets that nose, and gets that mouth. And this is temporary adhesive. It's basically going to keep our pieces in place so that we can sew them. It's not meant to be the only way that you attach these pieces of fabric to your project. All right, just trim any threads that you don't love as you go along. But part of Raw Edge Fusible Appliqué is that it's going to have a little bit of that primitive look as those edges fray a little bit. So now we're going to take it to the sewing machine and we're going to do some stitching. I'm going to start with my 1/4 inch straight foot in, and I'm going to stitch around the edge of the beard and then do around the edges of the mustache. Then I'm going to switch to free motion quilting and we're going to do some more stitching and a little bit of design on these plain fabrics. Now that's truly just free motion. I was just moving it as I was going. If you want it to look a little bit more organized, you can of course draw lines, and I recommend using a heat erasable pen so you can draw guidelines for yourself, little swirls or whatever, and then they'll go away when you iron them. If you want to make the soft tooth star block, you can find it in my Etsy shop.